Ambassador Zethkar's six eyes dilated in horror as the massive display screen surrounding the Galactic Council chamber flickered to life. Where once showed the serene spiral arms of distant galaxies, now appeared something that shouldn't exist, a fleet of angular, primitive vessels emerging from hyperspace directly outside the Council's most sacred station. "Impossible," whispered Chancellor Morden, her crystalline vocal cords creating a sound like breaking glass. The humans were declared extinct 73 cycles ago. The declaration had been unanimous. After the failed uplift attempt and the subsequent cleansing operation, every major species in the Council had agreed. Humanity was a dangerous anomaly that had been properly eliminated. Their homeworld of Earth had been sterilized from orbit, its cities reduced to radioactive ash, its oceans boiled away. The official records clearly stated that no human had survived the purification process. Yet here they were. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance. Her weathered hands clasped behind her back as she gazed at the massive alien construct ahead. The Nexus station stretched across kilometers of space, its bioorganic curves and crystalline towers representing the pinnacle of galactic civilization. It was beautiful, she had to admit. It was also about to burn. "Admiral," came the voice of her tactical officer, Lieutenant Commander Hassan. "All ships are in position. The Council is attempting to hail us." "Let them talk," Chen replied, her voice carrying the weight of 7 decades and the fury of a species that refused to die. "But keep weapons hot." 73 years ago, Sarah had been a child playing in the ruins of what was once New York. She remembered the day the sky burned, when the alien ships descended like metallic angels of death. She remembered her parents pushing her and her younger brother into the deep metro tunnels, remembered the screaming, remembered the silence that followed. The aliens had been thorough, but they hadn't been perfect. Humans, it turned out, were remarkably good at surviving in places where they shouldn't. Deep ocean trenches, abandoned mine shafts, polar ice caves, buried bunkers that predated the attack. Wherever there was a crack in their perfect genocide, humanity had squeezed through and endured. "Admiral Chen," the alien transmission crackled. Through their primitive speakers, the universal translator struggling with concepts that had no human equivalent. "I am Ambassador Zethkar of the Galactic Council. Your presence here is unprecedented. We had believed your species to be extinct." Sarah allowed herself a cold smile. "You believed wrong." In the council chamber, panic was beginning to set in. The Vorth delegation was chittering in their native language, their insectoid forms clicking against the floor. The elegant, ethereal, collective representatives had gone completely silent, their energy fields flickering with what could only be described as fear. "How many ships?" demanded General Crixthon of the hegemony military forces. "Preliminary scans indicate approximately 200 vessels," reported the station's AI. "Configuration unknown. Technology appears to be a hybrid of salvaged galactic systems and indigenous human engineering." 200 ships. Against the Council's home station, defended by the combined fleets of 17 species. It should have been laughable. But there was something about those angular vessels, something about their purposeful formation, that suggested the humans hadn't come here to lose. "They're savages," spat Chancellor Morden, "barely capable of fusion technology when we first encountered them. Whatever ships they've cobbled together from our wreckage cannot possibly—" Her words were cut off as every screen in the chamber displayed the same image. Admiral Sarah Chen, standing in what appeared to be a command bridge that looked like it had been welded together from scrap metal and alien technology. Behind her, the bridge crew moved with military precision, their faces bearing the scars of survivors. "Members of the Galactic Council," Sarah began, her voice carrying clearly through the station's communication system. 73 years ago, you declared us extinct. You burned our worlds, killed our children, and scattered our survivors to the void. You did this because you deemed us too aggressive for galactic society." She paused, and for a moment, the only sound in the council chamber was the nervous chittering of various alien species. You were right to fear us, Sarah continued. But you should have finished the job. The display shifted to show the human fleet in formation. Each ship bore the scars of improvisation, hull plates from a dozen different species welded together, weapon systems that mixed human ingenuity with alien technology, engines that shouldn't work, but somehow did. For 7 decades, we've crawled through the wreckage you left us. We've learned your languages, studied your technology, understood your weaknesses. We've built this fleet from the bones of our dead worlds and the fury of our survivors. Ambassador Zethkar's voice cracked as he transmitted. What do you want? Sarah's smile was visible even across the vast distance between her ship and the station. We want what you took from us. We want our worlds back. We want reparations for our dead. And we want your unconditional surrender. The council chamber erupted in outrage. Species that had never agreed on anything suddenly found themselves united in their indignation. The very notion that a supposedly primitive species would demand the surrender of the galactic government was beyond comprehension. This is absurd. Chancellor Mordoon's voice rose above the chaos. We outnumber you 10-1. Our technology is centuries ahead of anything you could possibly— Your technology, Sarah interrupted, is what we've been studying for 73 years. Every piece of debris from your cleansing operation became our textbook. Every abandoned outpost became our laboratory. You taught us everything we needed to know about how to kill you. The tactical displays around the station suddenly came alive with warnings. The human ships were moving, spreading out in a formation that seemed chaotic until the Council's military analysts realized what they were seeing. It wasn't chaos. It was a carefully orchestrated battle plan that accounted for every defensive position, every weapon emplacement, every possible avenue of retreat. Impossible, breathed General Crixthon. They couldn't have mapped our defenses so precisely without spending decades infiltrating your space, Sarah finished. Did you really think all the humans died in the purge? Some of us have been living among you, learning from you, preparing for this day. As if on cue, explosions began blooming throughout the Nexus station. Not random destruction, but surgical strikes against specific systems, communication arrays, defensive platforms, hyperspace inhibitors. Everything that would prevent the Council from either fighting back effectively or calling for help. In the Council chamber, Ambassador Zethkar stared at the tactical display with growing horror. The human fleet wasn't just attacking. They were systematically dismantling 70 years of galactic civilization with the precision of a surgeon and the ruthlessness of a species that had learned to hate. Admiral Chen, he transmitted desperately. Surely we can negotiate. The time for negotiation was 73 years ago, Sarah replied. Before you murdered our children, before you burned our worlds, before you declared us extinct. She leaned forward, and every being in the council chamber could see the cold fury in her human eyes. Today, the galaxy learns what extinction really looks like. The first human missile struck the station's central spire, and the age of the Galactic Council came to an end with the roar of human vengeance.